If you're wanting to get into forging medieval jewelry or just blacksmith work in general, watch this video all the way to the end because I am going to show you exactly what you need to start forging and how to forge that awesome bracelet in the thumbnail. As many of y'all know, I go to shows and events such as gun shows, knife shows, arts and crafts festivals, and all kinds of things. But I am fixing to go to a show unlike any other I've been to, the Lincoln Forest Renaissance Festival here in Ruidoso, New Mexico. Unfortunately, they have somebody else to do the demonstrations. Because my mom took too much Tylenol while she was pregnant with me, my autistic brain says I can do it anyways. Well, probably not demonstrations, but I need to dress for the occasion. That means I'm going to forge myself a full set of armor with a matching sword. I do not want it to be a super historical set of armor. I want it to be more fantasy geared, but I also want it to be practical, if you know what I'm going for. So if you have any ideas for that, please let me know down in the comments, and we will do that for our next video if we get enough likes, subscribes, and comments on this video. Let's get right into the video so that way we can make some bracelets. This particular project, you don't need super fancy forges or anvils or hammers or any of that, as long as you have a way to heat the steel and shape the steel. So you can use a wooden stump to kind of forge it to shape. You could use a small hammer that is mounted properly in the ground. For example, take a sledgehammer like this and just mount it in the ground or in a vise. So the way you're hammering on this face right here. And then just take a small ball peen hammer you can get at Walmart or Ace or wherever you're from where you can buy tools and hardware. Use those to shape your bracelet or your jewelry that you're trying to make. Those tools will also get you started in blacksmithing so you can make wall hooks and knives and all that cool stuff. So, a way to heat your materials. I have a propane forge. I bought it for about 150 bucks on eBay. You do not need one of those. You can use a charcoal forge. You can use a campfire. I recommend a campfire because all you need is just some rocks to stop it from spreading and a little bit of wood. You can get old pallets for free all around town. You just gotta know where to look. You can get firewood from the Forest Service. You just got to get a wood permit. But campfire is the most efficient way to heat your metal if you are a beginner blacksmith. So let's go ahead and light the forge and get started. What you want to do is actually measure your wrist. So the first thing you want to do is find some kind of rope or string to wrap around your wrist, and that's exactly how much material or how long you're going to want this bracelet. So I got a bungee cord right here. I am just going to kind of wrap it around the wrist. You can get a tape measure to do this too. Just take the rope or bungee cord, kind of wrap it around. Make sure it's loose on your wrist. You don't want it too tight. You can always make it tighter, but you can't make it looser. I'm going to pinch it in the spot I want, and then I'm going to mark it. Then what I am going to do is I'm going to unravel it, and I am going to find the spot that I want to cut. Right there. And you don't need no fancy tools or equipment or forges for this particular project. While your forge is heating up, you want to go ahead and select the material you want to use. You can use steel, copper, brass, iron, just about anything metallic. Go ahead and mark the spot you need to cut because this is a pretty precise project. Basically, you need to measure your wrist or get a variety of sizes if you're going to sell them at shows and events. Not everybody has the same size of wrist or hand. Go ahead and cut off the marked material and save that for later. After you cut the material, I am using the ball peen side of the hammer and just randomly hitting it. What that's going to do is not only is it going to stretch it just a little bit, but it's also going to put a really nice finish texture on the top of it. Different types of hammers makes different finishes. For example, a flat hammer will just make it real smooth. The round part will make bumps all through it, while the cross peen will make straight lines. Now, after you textured your
piece of metal, you can either just wrap it around a round thing that's approximately the size of your wrist and call it quits, or you can go ahead and do some fancy scroll work on the ends, like what I'm going to do here. Basically, you want to angle it on your anvil and then take the hammer and angle that and just start bending the piece inwards like I'm doing right here. This will create the foundation for creating the scroll on both ends. I'm not the greatest at doing scrolls like this, but it is good practice, and if you can do more than one piece, that would be great. I'm going to try to explain it best I can. I'm not that great at it, but wherever you hit your piece of metal, the metal is going to curve inwards towards you and your hammer. Eventually, you can create a 90-degree angle and then tap that 90-degree angle further in and create a scroll. And of course, like everything, it takes practice to master that. And if you had less wide pieces of metal, it would be a lot easier. Basically, you want to just hammer it at different angles, use the cross peen, use your pliers, just keep going back and forth at it. Make sure you're working with a fairly hot heat, especially on this thin metal. It'll cool off really quick. After doing as much as I could with a set of hammers on making these wide and thin scrolls on each end of this bracelet, I switched to a pair of needle nose Leatherman pliers and some cheap Walmart pliers, and I just adjusted it. After that, I went over to the lightweight ball peen hammer and just kind of moved it around just a little bit, made it look more round rather than squished, crunched up metal. Like I said in other videos, the ball peen is just there for very light work, adjusting things, smoothing things out, and texturing work. One of the beautiful things about life is living with your parents in your 20s and turning their yard into an absolute junkyard. A perk of that is I was able to find this perfect in diameter rusted well pipe. You see, with making bracelets, you don't want them perfectly round. Otherwise, they won't fit on your arm very well. If you look at the shape of a human arm, it's actually more oval than round. So the perfect shape for a bracelet is more of a C shape rather than perfectly round. I do this with just about every blacksmith project. After you're done forging and shaping your piece, I anneal it, basically letting it slowly heat up in the forge and then slowly cool down. I do that 3 times before I quench it. I'm not quenching this. I need to leave it soft on purpose so that way you can adjust it a little bit on your arm.
While the steel is still somewhat hot, I got a little piece of beeswax and some leather. But first, I want to hit it with a wire brush to give it a real nice finish. Especially the inside where somebody's going to be wearing it, because they're going to be sweating, and you want to make sure that it can't rust very easily. So make sure you get the inside. That's why I got this little piece of leather, thoroughly coated, so you don't get burned. Next, I'm going to turn the forge off and then use the leftover heat and stick it in there, and that will bake the beeswax into the steel, and you shouldn't have to wax it for a very long time. After you've let it bake on there for a little bit, pull it off,